inflicted according to his pleasure. The blood of the apostates will wash away the stain of their treachery, so that their souls may prostrate themselves before the Undying One's throne and beg his forgiveness. I have acted with reverence and shown proof of my loyalty. Will you accept me, Domain Oscar? Will you make me your shield and shadow? Kibela wipes the blood from her blade in one swift movement. Your lordship, the spinners of the Bloodspawn web were watching, tracking and killing von Valencia's enemies long before the warrant of trade passes to Lady Theodora. However, the blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had a good reason. So they killed rogue traders before. The factotum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance at Kibela. The blades have also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. Yeah, they were killing rogue traders left and right. A stern-looking woman clears her throat. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to the ruin. The enforcers respect the Bloodspawn web, for we share a common goal, to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of the ship. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, these spinners took a train drive to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malok did to earn that privilege though, and who's going to feed his family now, but that's a lower deck problem. What matters is that the Bloodspawn web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. Heinrich takes a drag on his IO stick, exhaling the thick smoke through his clenched teeth. Continue. A plump old woman in the rich robes of a confessor adds respectfully, "My predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about the spinners saved this vessel from the servants of the arch-enemy." This is the spinners, because they spin a lot. Yeah, while killing people. The Bloodspawn web paid the price in blood. A river of scarlet that flooded the decks from bridge to bilge. Or bilge. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins, and the beat of its heart. Their great sacrifice earned them the favor of host von Valencians. It seems that not all officers have been presented to me yet. Indeed, your lordship, your Castor Sareback, at your service. I am entrusted with the honor of commanding the enforcers and keeping order aboard this vessel. It is my duty to punish trespassers, suppress disobedience, and repel any and all attacks on the ship. Well, you made a terrible job. Confessor Adalbert, your lordship, as a humble servant of the Emperor. I am entrusted with the high honor of being the ship's confessor, or in other words, the highest spiritual authority on your vessel. I am here to oversee the purity of the crew's faith. Well, you're doing great job by not knowing that your captain is a heretic. That's great job. Good job. I officiate in the officers' chapel and also look after the ship's reliquary. Tell me about the spinner's great sacrifice. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the Immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted, the famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders. But then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tipped dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the blood-spun web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. I wish to hear what my retinue thinks. I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer up to him. I have seen how the deeds fill the people's hearts with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The blood-spun's web loyalty to the emperors is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the arch-enemy. She will try to kill me, although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue. She respected the blood-spun web and approved of its mission. You will be my shadow. I have enough fighters in my retinue. Yes, you will be my shadow. Kibala's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. Why? The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deadly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth, I am your shadow, Domin Oscar von Valentius, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One. For so it was ordained, and his turret forspoke. The young woman bows her head once more. I also come bearing an invitation from the visor of the blood-spun web. He wishes you to know that the doors of the Undying One's temple are open to you. Are you suggesting the Lord Captain should go down into the depths of the flagship to search for his temple? Oh, for this temple. With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. Yet there is a temple for an emperor. They are not a fitting place for his lordship. Forspoke? What do you mean? What turret? The greatest, most sacred relic of the blood-spun web. The emperor's turret. Only his chosen servants may earn the permission to rain blood upon the cards and perform a reading to see portents of the future, shadows of the past, or tangles of the present. However, the secrets of this tarot are not for the ears of lay people to hear. I cannot tell you more, not here, not now. I wonder if that God-blessed tarot saw that I'm a heretic. Who is this Visor? Whatever. Is the first among us. That's this Visire has spun the web of faith for 5-fold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood. My mentor and teacher. Why is this guy not here to deliver the message himself? The first spinner is old. His abode is in the temple beneath the flagship's right line. And he has not left the lower decks in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. So he's that one, almost that one. Probably he's the... I don't know. He fires something from the ship. Where is your temple located? I am not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Ariane, the matriarch spider. Hers was the thread that should become the Bloodspawn web. Her path began deep within the flagship in the dark tunnels of the Frame line, and that is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring you closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to the understanding death. I do not see the point of these riddles. Your temple is a part of my flagship. What is to stop me from simply walking inside? Because you don't know where it is. I will walk in the footsteps of Matriarch Spider. Your journey will begin in darkness of the deepest tunnel. The Vizier awaits you. The cultists retreat into the shadows as Kibala sheaths her ceremonial dagger. Your blade awaits direction. Domin Oscar. We will speak again when the time is right. Okay, so we have a new comrade in our retinue. And she leveled up twice. The Rogue Trader's ship is a city sailing through the void. The ship has numerous compartments that you can visit. Navigate those compartments using the map of the ship, which you can access from the main elevator on the bridge or from any compartment. To the Lord Captain quarters. Chronos Expanse map. So, to become the flagship's blood. Okay, I did this, looking for trouble. I think I will go to Uruk 5 because I need the navigator and she is great. So yes, before I venture deeper into my ship, I will go for Uruk 5. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. How many more? Vigdis pauses, as if listening to something. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Versarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. Why? Okay. What is the meaning of this? The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice, the loudest of all, of course. This is not the conduct of any officers. Officer, these are the antics of a high-born brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her supervisor's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. So speak. Very well, Lieutenant. Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher ranking officer will be logged on your personal life without delay. Give her a break. She only wants to speak. Lord Captain, Lieutenant of Avril Lavent, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I am sorry, Lord Captain, I thought that drastic times called for drastic measures, Vent exclaims hotly. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault on unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary, but I am convinced that this step is unwarranted, and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Vent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard is no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sarback, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Versarian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or massacre on our hands. Vent reels off the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she's finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard, then at you. But my ship and no one has informed me. How did all this start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. I want this pendant. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. Where does Seneschal Versarian come into all this? I shall explain, Abelard intones grimly. I beg you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and no one the pillars of the system is that the broke trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems by myself, so of course when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermins who murdered Theodora von Valencius will find refuge on her ship. You would be surprised. You are far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Versarian. Arrest, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink, Vent says bitterly. Now there is a strike on lower decks, in Depot 4 to be precise. Three worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection, but when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault until unit and crush the strike with maximum force. Oh, we have a problem. Kill it. Just kill it. I'm sorry, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry, Seneschal. We have a problem on our deck. Kill it. Kill it with fire. The ship's important report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. There is an introduction, blah blah blah, about what do you have to say to all this? What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. So yes, you can kill them all. Just poof them into the void. It is home to clans of general laborers. Okay, they are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now more besides giving succor to cultists and minions of the archenemy. Okay, I understand, dude, but killing people for that reason. There are 2 cultists on my ship. Kill them. Fucking all. Kill all people on the ship. Depot 4 is poor and troubled. But at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again. If the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to the sector. To this sector. It is located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors. Report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide me your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vant, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. That being said, while I entirely share Master Versarian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserve, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Sourbags bow her head in Abelard's direction, however a moment later a serpentine smile appears on her lips. Oh, little fight! Mistress Sourbag, I see you have decided to follow the lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sourbag, explain yourself. Abelard, do you wish to respond? Would you say the Seneschal has singled you out from your peers in any way? Lord Captain, I swear that Seneschal Versarian has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, nor facilitated my promotions, although he is the man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me expensive guidance in my servants, for which I am grateful to him, and while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in the sights to ensure that they continue to strive. To prepare a new generation of the dynasty's servants, to instruct them and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it. This is my duty as Seneschal. This ship has base worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards from I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point, so you are the captain of the bridge. It appears I have unearthed an old squabble. I would prefer to be left out of it. Do you wish to respond? Mr. Sourback, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior, or one where I would overrule their order, or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard have always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. Yeah, by telling I have a power, I will kill everyone in your name. That you distinguish some of them and know them by name in tantamount to walking around the officers' decks, handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition, and audacity makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to their commander, and no one else. That is the sole foundation of the order. Soundback, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that the Master at Arms is responsible for resolving all matter related to the ships and forces. And yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Versarian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the lead of the immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your lordship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master at Arms that they happened to disagree with. Tomorrow they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's orders. Like right now. I notice a pattern in these actions. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. What do you have to say about all of this? I see no need to add anything. I acted with the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interest of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. I will verify the soundness of the decision. No, the fifth one. There is an acceleration on the ship and no one has informed me. I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. Maybe rogue traders should think by themselves? The lower decks, as it so happened, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero who survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Abelard scoffs. Needless to say, the rumor were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient